My brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when you pour your heart out in prayer. You cry, you beg, you plead. You ask Allah for that one thing your soul longs for. Maybe it's healing, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a child, maybe it's love, maybe it's simply peace of mind. And yet, silence, days pass, weeks pass, sometimes years pass, and you wonder, why hasn't my dua been answered? At that moment, Shaitan whispers, see, Allah is ignoring you, maybe he doesn't care about you, maybe your sins are too heavy, and you start to feel rejected. But the truth is this, a delay is never rejection. When Allah delays your dua, it's not because he doesn't hear you, it's because he is shaping you, it's because he knows what you don't want. The delay is a test of your heart. Think of a seed buried in the soil. Days go by and nothing seems to happen. But under the ground, roots are forming. Growth is hidden, not absent. That's what a delay in your dua looks like. Allah is strengthening your heart before he lets your prayer bloom. 2. The delay is protection. Sometimes you ask for something that looks beautiful on the surface but carries poison underneath. You ask for a relationship, a job, a move, and you think, this will make me happy. Allah, in his wisdom, withholds it because he sees what you can't. The delay is his way of protecting you from walking into harm. 3. The delay increases the value. Imagine 2 gifts, one given instantly and one given after a long wait, after tears, after patience, after nights of prayer. Which one will you value more? Allah knows that when he makes you wait, the gift will settle deeper into your heart. You won't just receive it, you'll cherish it. 4. The delay is training for your soul. Patience isn't passive. It's training. Every time you make dua and don't see results, but still return to the prayer mat, you are building spiritual muscles. You are proving that you worship Allah not because he gives you what you want instantly, but because he is worthy of worship no matter what. 5. The answer may come in a different form. Sometimes Allah delays not because he won't give, but because he will give differently. You ask for wealth, but he gives you contentment. You ask for success, but he gives you wisdom. You ask for healing of the body, but he gives you healing of the heart. Every dua is answered, but not always in the way you expect. Final reminder, so when your dua is delayed, don't let despair eat away at your faith. Remember this, Allah is never late, his timing is perfect. If he withholds, it's mercy. If he delays, it's wisdom. If he gives, it's love. Keep asking, keep trusting, because every single dua you make is heard, recorded, and responded to in this life or the next. There is a unique pain in waiting. When you ask for something with all your heart, when you cry out to Allah in the darkness of the night, when you whisper the same dua over and over again, your heart clings to the hope that tomorrow will bring the answer. But then tomorrow comes and nothing changes. Days stretch into weeks, weeks into months, and sometimes years. That silence can feel heavier than rejection. It is in those moments that your faith is truly tested. Because faith is not believing when everything is clear, faith is holding on when everything feels hidden. When your dua is delayed, it's as if Allah is gently asking you, do you trust me even when you don't see the results? Think of a child learning to walk. The parent doesn't hold their hand every second. Sometimes the parent steps back, letting the child wobble, stumble, and struggle. Not because they don't love the child, but because they want the child to grow stronger. In the same way, when Allah delays, he isn't abandoning you, he's allowing your faith to grow legs, to stand firm, to walk on its own. Faith that only exists when prayers are answered quickly is fragile. Real faith is proven in the wait. When you pray for something day after day and still bow your head in sujud, still whisper his name, still trust his wisdom, that is faith being purified. It's faith stripped of conditions. It's saying, even if I don't see what I want, I still believe in you. Sometimes the delay reveals the difference between wanting Allah and wanting only his gifts. When the gifts don't arrive, do you still seek the giver? When the doors don't open, do you still knock? That waiting period uncovers the depth of your relationship with him. There's a hidden beauty in waiting that many don't notice. While your dua is delayed, Allah is still working on you. He's teaching you patience, humility, and resilience. He's reminding you that you are not in control, he is. And often, this realization is more powerful than the thing you are asking for. Because in the waiting, you discover who you are, and more importantly, who your heart belongs to. Think of the prophets and how long they waited. Prophet Job waited through years of illness. Prophet Joseph waited through years in prison. Prophet Zechariah waited into old age for a child. Their delays weren't punishments. They were stages where their faith was being polished like gold in fire. And when the answer finally came, it was more beautiful than they could have imagined. Your delay is not a pause in Allah's plan, it is the plan. Every day you wake up and make that dua again, your soul is being trained to trust. Every tear that falls is washing away doubt. Every sigh of patience is writing a testimony of faith on your record. There will be moments when you'll feel weak, when your chest will ache with longing, when you'll wonder if your prayers are lost in the sky. But remember, not a single word you utter to Allah is ever lost. Not a single tear falls without Him knowing. The delay is simply His way of shaping your heart before He shapes your reality. Faith grows most in the soil of waiting, because in that waiting you are forced to surrender. You learn that faith isn't about getting everything you ask for on your timeline. It's about trusting the one who holds time itself, and so the delay becomes sacred. It becomes a classroom where your heart learns lessons no quick answer could ever teach. It's a mirror showing you your dependence, a reminder that your strength lies not in controlling outcomes, but in placing them in Allah's hands and saying, I trust you even here, even now, even in the waiting. There are times in life when you are absolutely certain about what you want. You pray for it day and night, convinced that this is the key to your happiness. Maybe it's a particular job, a house, a relationship, or a big opportunity. You think, if I just get this, everything will finally fall into place. But then, the doors don't open. The emails don't come, the calls don't arrive, the people you wanted slip away, and it feels like rejection, like Allah has turned His face away from you. You wonder, why would He hold back something so good? The truth is, Allah sometimes withholds not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants to protect you. The delay is His shield around you, keeping you from stepping into something that might look beautiful on the outside but carries harm on the inside. Think of it this way, a child might beg their parent for candy before dinner. The child believes that candy will make them happy, but the parent knows it will spoil their appetite and harm their health. So the parent says not yet, or even no. The child cries, thinking it's unfair, but the parent sees further ahead. In the same way, Allah's wait, or no, isn't cruelty, it's mercy you can't yet see. Sometimes you're asking for a relationship, convinced that this person is your soulmate. You imagine a perfect future together, but Allah knows that person might break you, misuse you, or pull you away from Him. Sometimes you're asking for a job, certain it's your big break, but Allah knows that job could destroy your peace, compromise your faith, or trap you in stress. Sometimes you're asking for wealth, but Allah knows it might make you arrogant, forgetful, or disconnected from your true purpose. We humans only see the surface. We judge by appearances, by what glitters. But Allah sees the unseen. He sees behind the curtain. He sees where that road leads even when you don't. So when He delays your dua, it's often Him quietly redirecting you away from a fire you don't even realize is burning. Protection doesn't always feel like protection in the moment. It often feels like loss. You don't see the accident you avoided. You don't see the heartbreak that never came. You don't see the trap you were guided around. You only see the absence of what you wanted. But when you look back later, you realize, if I had gotten what I prayed for back then, it would have destroyed me. Many people can look back at their lives and see this clearly. They wanted a certain relationship that ended, only to later find someone who truly valued them. They cried over a job they didn't get, only to discover a better opportunity that fit perfectly. They longed for something that was withheld and later realized it would have been a disaster. Allah's delay is sometimes His most tender form of care, because while you're asking for what you think is good, He's protecting you from what He knows is harmful. You ask for short-term happiness, He's securing your long-term peace. It's hard to understand in the moment. Waiting with empty hands is painful, but those empty hands are often the proof of Allah's protection. Because sometimes the greatest blessing is not what He gives, but what He prevents. So when your dua is delayed, try to reframe it. Maybe this isn't rejection at all. Maybe this is Allah's way of saying, I love you too much to let you walk into harm. Trust me, I see what you can't. One of the most difficult things about waiting is the feeling that your life is on pause. You want something so badly, you pray for it constantly, and when it doesn't arrive, you feel like you're being left behind while others move forward. But what we often forget is that waiting itself adds value. The delay makes what you're asking for far more meaningful than if it had come the moment you asked. Think about gifts in life. Imagine you receive something instantly, no effort, no waiting, no longing. You'd be grateful at first, but soon you might take it for granted. But when you wait, when you pray, when you ache, when you stay patient through nights of tears and mornings of hope, the moment the gift finally comes, it settles deeper into your heart. You don't just enjoy it, you treasure it. The value of something is not only in what it is, but in what it took to get there. A student who studies hard for years and then graduates values that certificate differently from someone who had it handed to them without effort. A parent who waited years for a child values that child with a unique tenderness. A believer who waited years for a specific dua to be answered cherishes that blessing with a depth others can't understand. Delay creates depth. It stretches your heart, it forces you to slow down and truly appreciate the blessing when it finally arrives. Without the delay, the gift might slip into the background of your life. With the delay, it becomes unforgettable. There's also something else the delay does. It prepares you to handle the blessing. Sometimes what you're asking for is not too big for Allah to give, but too big for you to carry at least right now. You need the waiting period to mature, to learn, to strengthen, to grow into the person who can handle that blessing without breaking. Imagine giving a car to a child who doesn't know how to drive. The car itself isn't the problem. The problem is that the child isn't ready. In the same way, Allah delays because He wants to make sure that when He gives you the blessing, it doesn't destroy you, it builds you. During the delay, Allah is shaping you. He's giving you wisdom, patience, resilience, and perspective. Qualities you'll need once the blessing finally arrives. Without them, you might waste it, misuse it, or fail to recognize its worth. But with them, you'll know how to hold it, how to use it, how to be truly grateful for it. And here's something many people overlook. Sometimes the delay itself is the gift, because in that waiting, you discover yourself, you learn your limits, you stretch your patience, you strengthen your connection with Allah through constant dua. If the blessing came instantly, you might never have prayed so much, never have humbled yourself so deeply, never have shed tears that softened your heart. Many people can look back and say, the years I spent waiting were the hardest, but also the years that made me who I am. That waiting shaped their character in ways the blessing alone never could. So when your dua is delayed, don't only look at what you don't have, look at what you're becoming. Look at the way your heart is learning gratitude, the way your soul is learning patience, the way your faith is being tested and refined. That growth is part of the value Allah is adding to your life. Because when the blessing finally comes, it won't just be something you receive. It will be something you lived for, prayed for, waited for, and grew into. And that kind of blessing stays with you forever. When your dua is delayed, it doesn't just test your patience, it trains your soul. Because the truth is, waiting isn't passive. It's not just sitting still and doing nothing. Waiting is a form of training. It's a spiritual gym where your heart, mind, and faith are being strengthened with every prayer you make, every tear you shed, every moment you choose to trust instead of despair. Think about athletes. They don't build strength overnight. They repeat the same exercises again and again, training their muscles until they're ready for competition. The process is long, sometimes exhausting, but it transforms them. In the same way, every delayed dua is like a spiritual exercise. Each time you raise your hands and ask Allah, even though yesterday seemed silent, you are training your soul to endure, to trust, to stay connected to Him. This kind of training creates resilience. It teaches you how to hold on to faith, even when circumstances try to pull it out of your hands. And resilience is one of the most powerful qualities you can have in life. Because life will always bring challenges, losses, failures, heartbreaks, disappointments. If your soul hasn't been trained through patience, you'll collapse under the weight of those challenges. But if you've been trained through waiting, you'll stand stronger. The delay also trains you in humility. When duas are answered instantly, it's easy to become entitled. You start to think, I ask and I get, that's how it works. But when Allah delays, you're reminded that you are the servant, not the master. You learn that you can't control the timeline, that your life is in bigger hands than your own. This humility keeps your heart soft and your worship sincere. Training also happens through consistency. When you keep returning to Allah again and again, even without immediate results, you're building a habit of turning to Him in every state. You're proving that your relationship with Him isn't based on transactions I ask, you give, but on devotion. That devotion is priceless. It means that even when life doesn't look the way you want, your connection to Allah remains unshaken. And here's something beautiful. The more your soul is trained through delay, the more gratitude you'll feel when the answer finally comes. Because you'll know what it took to get there, you'll remember the long nights, the whispered prayers, the tears. The blessing won't feel ordinary, it will feel extraordinary, and that kind of gratitude only comes from someone whose soul has been trained to wait. The delay also trains your heart to detach from outcomes and attach to Allah. At first, your dua is all about the thing you want. But as time goes on and the answer doesn't come, your heart shifts. You start to find peace not just in the result, but in the act of praying itself. You begin to realize that the sweetest part of dua isn't when it's answered, but when your soul feels closest to Allah in the asking. This training isn't easy. Some days you'll feel tired, some nights you'll cry and wonder if it's worth it. But just like exercise, the pain is part of the growth. Each moment of struggle is stretching your faith, making it more flexible, more durable, more alive. So the next time your dua is delayed, don't just see it as silence. See it as training. See it as Allah strengthening your soul in ways you may not understand now, but will one day thank Him for. Because in the long run, the person you become in the waiting may be even more valuable than the thing you were waiting for. When we make dua, most of us imagine a very specific picture of what the answer should look like. If we ask for a job, we expect an offer letter. If we ask for healing, we expect perfect health. If we ask for love, we expect the exact person we have in mind. And when that doesn't happen, we assume our dua has been ignored. But the reality is far more beautiful. Allah answers every single dua, just not always in the way we expect. Sometimes the answer looks different, sometimes it comes later, and sometimes it's stored for the hereafter. But it is always answered. Think about rain. You pray for rain, expecting drops to fall from the sky. But Allah may send rivers that flow through the land, or snow that melts into water, or clouds that shade you from the heat. The prayer is answered, but in a form you didn't imagine. This is one of the hardest lessons for the human heart, to accept that your vision of happiness is limited, but Allah's vision is unlimited. You ask for something you think will complete you, but Allah gives you something that truly protects you, grows you, and benefits you. Maybe you asked for wealth, but instead Allah gave you contentment. At first, you don't recognize it. You're still waiting for money, but slowly you realize that your heart feels lighter, your worries less sharp, and your soul at peace even without riches. Isn't that a greater form of wealth? Maybe you asked for success in a career, but instead Allah gave you wisdom and strength to navigate challenges in life. You didn't get the promotion you wanted, but you got resilience, creativity, and maturity that will carry you through much bigger moments later. Maybe you asked for physical healing, but instead Allah gave you a heart that found closeness to Him, patience that shines in your character, and a perspective that inspires others. The body might still hurt, but the soul glows in a way that money or medicine can't buy. Sometimes Allah doesn't give you exactly what you asked for, because what you asked for is too small compared to what He has planned for you. You pray for one door to open, but Allah has written a palace for you down the road. If He answered you too quickly in the way you wanted, you'd settle for less. It's also possible that the answer to your dua is stored for the hereafter. Every dua you make is recorded, every tear is counted. When you don't see the response in this life, it doesn't mean it was lost, it means it has been saved for a day when you will need it most. On that day, when rewards are being handed out, you'll be grateful for every unanswered dua you ever made, because you'll find it waiting for you in a form beyond your imagination. What looks unanswered in this world is not unanswered in reality. It's simply redirected, transformed, or delayed to give you something better. This requires trust. It requires surrendering your limited vision and embracing Allah's infinite wisdom. And perhaps this is the essence of faith. To ask, to hope, to pray, but then to trust that however Allah responds is the best response. To say, Even if it doesn't look the way I wanted, I know it's still good for me. So the next time you pray and don't see the exact answer you imagined, don't lose heart. Look deeper, ask yourself, what new strength, what hidden blessing, what unexpected peace has entered my life since I started making this dua? Because the answer may already be there, just wearing a different face. One of the heaviest feelings in the world is the thought that your prayers are not being heard. You raise your hands, you whisper the same words, you cry the same tears, yet life looks unchanged. And slowly a dangerous thought creeps into your mind. Maybe Allah has rejected me. But here's the truth, a delay is never rejection. Rejection would mean Allah has turned away from you, that your voice doesn't matter, that your words are lost. But Allah is Al-Sami, the all-hearing. He hears every whisper, every sigh, every dua, even the ones you only think in your heart but never say aloud. When a dua is delayed, it isn't thrown aside. It is written, recorded, preserved. It's as if Allah is saying, I have stored this for you. Trust me with the timing. A delay doesn't mean silence. It means scheduling. It means your request has been placed in a timeline you cannot yet see. Think about a letter sent in the mail. You write it, you seal it, you send it. It may take days or weeks before it reaches the destination, but the journey is happening. Just because you don't see it moving doesn't mean it's been ignored. In the same way, your dua has already been received. It's already in the system of Allah's wisdom, moving toward the right moment, the right place, the right form. Rejection is final. Delay is preparation. Delay is Allah arranging circumstances around you, lining up opportunities, softening hearts, and shaping you into the person who can handle what you've asked for. You may not see it yet, but behind the scenes, something is unfolding. It's important to remember, even unanswered prayers are answered, just not always in this world. Sometimes Allah saves your dua for the hereafter, where the value of one answered prayer outweighs a lifetime of worldly blessings. Imagine standing on the day of judgment and being handed rewards beyond your imagination, all because of the duas you thought were ignored. In that moment, you'll thank Allah for every delay you ever faced. Delay also protects you from arrogance. If every dua was answered instantly, we might forget our neediness. We might start treating Allah like a vending machine, put in a prayer, get out a blessing. The delay keeps us humble, keeps us returning, keeps us aware that we are servants, not masters, and that humility is itself a blessing greater than any material answer. Think about people in your own life. Sometimes someone doesn't respond to you right away, not because they don't care, but because they're planning something thoughtful, something meaningful. Their silence isn't neglect, it's intention. Allah's delay works the same way. His silence is not absence. His timing is not neglect. His delay is full of wisdom, and sometimes the delay is the very proof of love, because only someone who truly cares about you will withhold something harmful, even if you don't see the harm. Only someone who truly loves you will say not yet when you want right now. The delay is Allah's way of protecting your heart from settling for less, from rushing into harm, from missing out on what's truly meant for you. So the next time you feel like your dua has been rejected, remind yourself, rejection would mean Allah has abandoned you. But He promised in the Quran, call upon me, I will respond to you. Every call is heard. Every call is answered. Delay is not denial. Delay is not rejection. Delay is mercy wrapped in wisdom.